a shooter is taking aim at the President of the United States. For the Secret Service, it's their worst-case scenario, the nightmare they've trained for years. In the next few seconds, each branch of the Secret Service springs into action. The protective detail, the counter-assault team, the airspace security branch, the counter-snipers, and the emergency response team. What happens next will decide the course of history. If the Secret Service succeeds, today will be forgotten soon enough. Keeping the president alive is just business as usual. The job the agency has successfully done every day since the death of JFK. But if they fail, it will rock the nation to its very core and threaten the stability of America's democracy. This is the moment that determines everything, when instinct, training, and sacrifice have to come together, or else. Who are the people protecting the president? How did they prepare for the unthinkable? How does the Secret Service actually work? This video is largely based on the books Zero Fail, The Rise and Fall of the Secret Service by Carol Leonnig, and In the President's Secret Service by Ronald Kessler. Links in the description. Fort Worth, Texas, 1963. The Secret Service is exhausted. JFK is their toughest assignment yet. He's constantly traveling. Miami one day, DC the next. His predecessors were older and spent most of their days working inside the White House, where the president is considered to be the safest. But JFK loves to travel the world and attend to his many adoring fans.
Ich bin ein Berliner.
And he has a taste for danger. Sneaking past his agents to swim in open water, where he's swarmed by dozens of other swimmers. Throwing himself into crowds. Letting all kinds of unvetted guests into his room, night after night. Keeping up with JFK is more than a full-time job. It's a blur of double shifts and all-nighters. So tonight, a few agents are blowing off some steam. They heard about a famously shady nightclub called The Cellar, where Texan beatniks rub shoulders with off-duty cops, often resulting in brawls. It's illegal to serve alcohol past midnight, but The Cellar is one place you're sure to get a stiff drink at any hour. And the agents stay way past midnight, one as late as 5 a.m. 4 of them are assigned to protect Kennedy the next morning, starting at 8 o'clock sharp. Compared to today's Secret Service, the agency protecting President Kennedy in the 60s is bare bones, basically the size of a municipal police force. There are just 350 agents, most of them spread throughout the US. Only 36 are assigned to the White House, with a rotating team of 6 guarding the president. Keeping the agency lean is partly due to an American aversion to treating its presidents like kings, going back to the Founding Fathers. People felt that the Secret Service shouldn't be anything like a royal guard. Until that cool November morning in Dallas. JFK likes to be seen. For this trip through Dallas, he's insisted on riding around in a convertible. And though the Secret Service doesn't like it, he also insists that his usual bodyguards ride in separate cars. He wants to appear accessible to the people.
Thousands are waiting to greet him in downtown Dallas. At 1:25, the motorcade moves into the downtown area.
JFK and Jackie smile and wave as their limousine inches through Dallas at just 11 miles an hour. It's following a route that Dallas newspapers published in advance. None of the buildings on the route have been inspected. This is Clint Hill, the agent assigned to protect Jackie Kennedy. Normally, he's stuck to her like a shadow, but today he's following JFK's orders to give the couple a little space. Of the agents who went to The Cellar last night, Hill was the first to leave, at 2:45 a.m. Today, he's also the first agent on duty to recognize this sound for what it is. An attempt on the president's life. This is Bill Greer, the agent driving Kennedy's limo. He's not trained in evasive driving. He slows down, waiting for instructions on what to do next. Another shot is fired. Clint rushes out of the car. He runs to the limousine, hoping to be at the president's side before worse can happen. But he's too late. Clint throws himself on the trunk of the car, only to find a gruesome aftermath. Within 6 seconds of the first shot, President Kennedy is dead.
If I had reacted just a little bit quicker, I could have, I guess. I'll live with that to my grave.
What happens next is history, and it will haunt the agency for years to come. President Kennedy's death revealed that something needed to change. But he wasn't the first president to be killed in office. 1865, 1881, 1901. But now the United States is a global superpower. The president is the most powerful person on Earth. The threats to his life are multiplying and evolving. And Kennedy's death traumatized the nation profoundly. Nothing like this should ever happen again. In the 60s and 70s, the Secret Service massively expands its personnel and budget. No longer will it be a small cadre of glorified bodyguards. Gone are the days when the service will hire any athletic ex-Marine or patriotic beat cop. Recruitment, training, and operational protocols become way more rigorous. And this is what 6 decades of evolution looks like. Protecting a president isn't just about reflexes or muscle. It's about training agents to think clearly under pressure, spot patterns, and solve complex problems fast. The good news is, you don't need to join the Secret Service to sharpen those same skills. Brilliant is built to turn the potential you already have into real problem-solving power. You can build logic, math, coding, and scientific thinking skills. It helps you click with ideas that used to feel abstract or intimidating. Their Truth and Lies course is a perfect place to start. You're given incomplete information, build up clues, eliminate what's impossible, and learn how to tell real deductions from educated guesses, figuring out exactly what's provable, even when the situation is messy. With Brilliant, you're not just watching explanations, you're actively working through step-by-step interactive lessons until concepts truly make sense. It's designed for ages 10 to 110. To start learning free for a full 30 days, go to brilliant.org/fern or scan the QR code. You'll also get 20% off an annual premium subscription and unlimited access to everything Brilliant offers. Protecting the president is a round-the-clock job. It's hours and hours of mind-numbing boredom, with occasional moments of sheer terror. When these moments come along, every split second counts, and the agent's response better be automatic. There's no time to weigh options. Their mission is zero fail. The Secret Service calls any would-be assassin a jackal, according to journalist Ronald Kessler. Jackals tend to strike outside of the White House. A president is most vulnerable when arriving at or leaving an event, so the agents are currently on high alert. At least 10 days before any external event, agents head to the destination. Some high-profile events, like the president's inauguration, take up to a year and a half. That's because the Secret Service isn't just about making sure a bullet doesn't hit the president. It's about making sure it never enters the event to begin with. Agents are sent in advance to assess the number of metal detectors needed, scrutinize all access points, and prepare explosive detection. Mainly, they're thinking of the ways a jackal could sabotage the event. Could he cut the lights to create chaos? Could he access the air conditioning units to introduce poison gas? Could he sneak in through a forgotten basement staircase? The bulk of Secret Service work is meticulous, detail-oriented preparation, making sure they're ready for days like this. These special agents are the protective detail, probably what you think of first when you hear the name Secret Service. They're the agents expected to take a bullet for the person they're protecting, and then evacuate them to safety. But they're just the tip of the iceberg. There's the counter-assault team. They're the heavily armed agents with the most dangerous role. They're meant to charge at the source of the attack and neutralize it before it can reach the person they're protecting, with an automatic rifle or with a flashbang grenade. Then the protective detail can evacuate the protectee to the presidential limousine, known as the Beast. The Beast is a $1.5 million car weighing about 20,000 pounds. It takes the president wherever he needs to go. It's American-made, of course, and quite a bit safer than Kennedy's convertible. According to NBC News, it's bulletproof, blast-resistant, sealed off from chemical attacks, and stocked with a supply of extra blood, exactly the president's type. Not all of its defense systems are known to the public, but rumor has it shoots tear gas. Flanking the Beast is the rest of the presidential motorcade. Counter-assault agents trained in motorcade ambush tactics travel in a car close to the Beast. Another Secret Service car carries intelligence agents who are tracking people considered threats. If necessary, they can jam these people's communications. After this, you should definitely check out this fantastic episode by our friend Neo for a full explanation. In close communication with the counter-assault team is the eagle-eyed counter-sniper team, the best marksman in the Secret Service. According to Ronald Kessler, every month, counter-snipers have to demonstrate they can still make shots 1,000 yards away. If they fail, they're not supposed to work. Here are plainclothes agents who mingle with crowds on high alert for threats and vulnerabilities. To blend in, they don't wear the trademark earpiece. They're looking for anyone suspicious, anyone sweaty, anyone shifty-eyed, anyone who stands out in any way. But it's a delicate operation, best handled discreetly.
Whoa, look who it is!
Lots of people get starstruck by a president, and they tend to act a little weird. It's not unheard of for people to weep, faint, or even throw their babies in the air, and the Secret Service can't go around tackling them all. Agents in the crowd are also trained to think like assassins. In any given space, how could they breach security if they wanted to? If they detect any vulnerability, they call the Joint Ops Center at Secret Service headquarters, who alert the protective detail by earpiece. Some Secret Service technicians are also photographing the crowds, who evaluate them later with facial recognition technology. They're looking out for whether particular individuals keep showing up. Outside the venue, we have the Uniformed Division's Emergency Response Team, the first line of defense, often armed with P-90 submachine guns and highly specialized canines. Each dog sniffs up to 100 cars a day for explosives and is trained to attack any intruders. Later, they're rewarded for their service with ball play. The Secret Service is also supported by local law enforcement and emergency medical technicians. When they're not actively protecting anyone, Secret Service agents are constantly training and reassessing past events. Agents receive way more training than they did in the 60s, when they were just handed a manual and expected to learn the rest on the job. And a split second from now, it'll be time to show their stuff. Just like in 1981. Back then, a mentally ill man named John Hinckley Jr. became obsessed with and stalked the actress Jodie Foster, who starred in Taxi Driver. In the movie, an aimless drifter plots to kill a presidential candidate. Hinckley, an aimless drifter himself, believed that Foster would notice him if he did something really great, like kill the president. Just before his attack on Reagan, he wrote to Foster, "You'll be proud of me, Jodie. Millions of Americans will love me. Us." Foster didn't alert the FBI to Hinckley's threats until after the fact.
The first time I knew that the FBI was involved was when somebody called me up and said, "Please come over and talk to the FBI."
But he was already on their radar. About 6 months before he attacked Reagan, Hinckley had been arrested for attempting to board a plane with 3 pistols. The plane was in the same city where then President Jimmy Carter just so happened to be. Now, Hinckley is outside a hotel in D.C., crouched in combat position. If indeed he had wanted to kill Carter, he wasn't able to get him. But Reagan will do. Reagan is just 6 feet from his armored car when Hinckley fires his rounds. Agent Tim McCarthy doesn't even stop to think. Instinct propels him to cover and evacuate. He hurls himself in front of the president. 2 others nearby have already been shot. Hinckley's 3rd bullet hits McCarthy squarely in the torso. 1 bullet ricochets off the bulletproof limousine and strikes Reagan in the left armpit. Unluckily for him, Hinckley has used Devastator bullets, designed to explode on impact and cause maximum damage. The president starts losing blood quickly. All this happens in 2 seconds, and the seconds after that counted even more. If Reagan had arrived at the hospital just a few minutes later, he might not have made it. Meanwhile, the agents pounced on Hinckley. They could have left that to local police and traveled behind Reagan to continue offering him protection. Their thinking was that they didn't know whether Hinckley was acting alone. But after this event, according to Kessler, a new policy was established. Secret Service agents always stick to the president. Every misstep becomes a teachable moment that advances security protocols for later. Hinckley's failed assassination is considered one of the Secret Service's great successes. But it was a close call. A man with a gun was able to get just 4.5 meters from the president and very nearly kill him. Clearly, security protocols needed to be beefed up. It's now standard procedure to have magnetometers or metal detectors that screen crowds at events. Beyond that, the Secret Service found they needed way better intelligence. 6 months before the assassination attempt, Hinckley was arrested trying to board a plane with 3 handguns, information known to the FBI. But under DOJ guidelines, the arrest was deemed too minor and never relayed to the Secret Service. In hindsight, that omission deprived presidential protectors of a major red flag, a prior weapons arrest timed to coincide with a presidential visit. The Secret Service now works more closely with the FBI. They've also developed an elaborate system for classifying just how threatening an aggrieved person is. Say you make the mistake of drunkenly boasting to a crowded bar that you're gonna kill the president. If the Secret Service catches wind of it, according to Kessler, you might be considered a Class 1 threat, and an agent could show up at your house for a serious chat. But unless you have prior military training, a documented history of mental illness, or a concrete reason for the service to believe you might try to carry out your plans, you won't be bumped up to Class 2 or 3. Class 3 threats are considered the most dangerous. Those with a serious intent to kill and the ability to do so. They're monitored very closely. The Secret Service receives an average of 10 threats per day. Most are against the president. Not all can be taken seriously. Many threats are mailed directly to the White House. Would-be assassins seem to think that the president will read their letter personally, and they want to be heard. A letter can give the Secret Service's forensic division a lot to work with. DNA, fingerprints, and ink samples they can compare with the ones in their international ink library. Since the early 80s, profilers have interviewed and studied assassins like Hinckley and Sirhan, who killed Robert Kennedy. This helps the Secret Service understand the motivations of these individuals, who are often paranoid loners seeking attention and notoriety. Often, but not always. The first bullet narrowly misses the president. A counter-sniper tries to take the assassin out, but he's already vanished into the chaos. The protective detail pounces on the president, forming a human wall. Another shot is fired, this time from the crowd. Is that gun made of white plastic? A bullet grazes the shoulder of an agent in the detail. The counter-assault team heads straight for the line of fire. Meanwhile, the remaining detail escorts the president off the podium, hoping they reach the beast in time, and that the real threat isn't overhead. The threat that the service has braced itself for since the morning of September 11, 2001. President George W. Bush is in Florida for the morning. He's joined a second-grade class for their reading lesson. He'll be back in the White House by lunchtime. The event has been publicized for a week. It's a feel-good photo op to celebrate Bush's commitment to education. The Secret Service is well aware that the world can see exactly where the president is. When the first plane hits the World Trade Center, an agent in Bush's security detail receives intelligence. He asks if the attack is isolated to New York and if the president's security is compromised. No answer. Nobody knows. Minutes pass. The Secret Service grows more agitated.
Both Twin Towers now are on fire.
The second plane hits, and Bush is informed that America is under attack.
See on page 153.
The age-old tension between the White House and the Secret Service has reached a fever pitch. One team's job is to project a competent image of the president, which requires the president to engage with citizens. The other team's job is to keep the president safe. The less he's seen in public, the easier that is to do. Nobody knows what to do. The Secret Service wants Bush out, now. But the White House press secretary doesn't want to scare the children, or the public watching. So Bush stays put for 7 excruciating minutes.
Good job. Go on. Go on.
The chaotic aftermath of that morning revealed more holes in the Secret Service's coverage. For one thing, not all important agents were briefed on how to adequately protect their assignments in case of a national emergency. There wasn't a system for getting them to military-controlled shelters, nor were the agents granted the power to do so. Instead, they were treated like mere bodyguards, elite ones, but still. They had to obey other staffers with no expertise in security, like the White House press secretary. The Secret Service had become really good at preventing attacks from crazed lone gunmen, but in the face of a sophisticated terrorist attack aimed at the president, they needed a whole new playbook, and more authority. After 9/11, the Secret Service rewrote its emergency action plans. It was made sure that no political staffer could overrule a Secret Service agent attempting to evacuate a president to safety. And the government decided that maybe, just maybe, the president's bodyguards should work closely with the people tracking terrorists. A year and a half after 9/11, the Secret Service was drafted into the new Department of Homeland Security. The protection mission was now understood as a form of counterterrorism. Shortly after the attack, the Secret Service established a new unit, the Airspace Security Branch, responsible for monitoring and controlling the airspace of the president's current location. Will today be the day they have to down a rogue drone? But the sky remains calm. The president makes it into the beast. And that's when he starts exhibiting strange symptoms. Tiny pupils, profuse sweating, wheezing, and convulsions. The nerve agent Novichok is a swift and brutal killer. It can take a victim down in less than 2 minutes. To kill or incapacitate a victim, a nerve agent needs to penetrate the skin or be ingested or inhaled, meaning that only someone in very close contact with the president could have administered it. Is there a third assassin among them? The Secret Service will deal with the holes in their security later. Now, the focus is on saving the president. That's where the Hazardous Agent Mitigation and Medical Emergency Response Team comes into play, also known as HAMMER. Today, HAMMER agents will save the president's life. The first would-be assassin was sniffed out and tackled by the Canine Protective Unit as he attempted to escape the venue. He's now in jail, awaiting trial. The second assassin, with the 3D printed gun, was shot by the counter-assault team. He died on the spot. And the third, the guy in the Secret Service itself, a career agent who rose through the ranks to the president's personal security detail, it turns out he's a sleeper agent, sent by a foreign nation. It isn't yet clear which. And they don't know how he infiltrated the service. Recently, the agency has been strained, struggling to fill key positions. Could there have been a lapse in their vetting process? They'll be sure to interrogate him intensively to find out. Our story may be an unlikely scenario, but it's just one of many possibilities that the Secret Service prepares for every day. Threats to the president have only expanded in recent years, so the service is now trained to deal with previously unheard of attacks. The war on terror gave the Secret Service more power than ever. More budget, more reach, more respect. But also more responsibilities that stretched them beyond their capacities. Internally, the machinery started to rust. The Bush and Obama years saw waves of scandals that undermined the agency's reputation and their motto, worthy of trust and confidence. In one case, a senior agent reportedly took a female informant up to his hotel room. She died that night from a drug overdose. He was later promoted. Other agents were caught stealing federal funds, having sex with minors, drunk driving on White House grounds, becoming embroiled in prostitution scandals, engaging in racist hazing of black agents, brawling in bars. Plus, there were several near misses during Barack Obama's presidency.
Add a bomb-sniffing dog to the bag.
Obama received 4 times as many threats as previous presidents, largely motivated by racism. Some commentators have said it's a miracle he's still alive. In the service, morale is often low and turnover is usually high. It's not easy to find qualified replacement agents. Not just anyone is willing to take a bullet for $48K a year. Plus, the job requires agents to travel constantly, move frequently, and work huge amounts of unpaid overtime. It's common for agents to quit and find better pay and job conditions at other federal agencies, or start their own security firms. Still, since JFK, the Secret Service has done its job. No dead presidents since 1963. But there was one particularly close call.
I really see something that said, take a look what happened.
In Butler, Pennsylvania, in 2024, Donald Trump was nearly assassinated as he was campaigning for his second presidency. Check out our video that breaks down that event. People still wonder, how could an assassin get to an unguarded roof with a clear line of sight to Trump? It's widely considered a major failure of the Secret Service.
Sir, this could have been our Texas school book depository. I have lost sleep over that for the last 17 days.
Then
just like you
fire
have.
somebody
And
to
I will
hold
tell
them
you,
accountable.
Senator,
6 agents were suspended, and the director stepped down. Just 2 months later, another attempted assassination of Trump rattled the service. And it's possible there have been many more incidents of nearly successful assassinations throughout U.S. history. We just didn't hear about them. Maybe that's the real secret of the service. All the times history almost changed, then didn't. Hey, we hope you enjoyed the video. Videos like this take a lot of work by a whole team of creators, and it's our sponsors that make it all possible. If you have a sec, check out Brilliant so we can keep the videos coming.
Now you can rent all new releases or anything else for 5 days.
Really?
Yeah, so you can just enjoy it at your own pace. At other video stores, you only get 1 day on new releases. So you can't enjoy it because you're too worried about getting it back on time. And then you gotta fly out the door in order to get to the video store before it closes. And the clock is ticking, the phone is ringing, the late fees are piling up so high. These are